growth hotel categories right now, thanks in part to pandemic-related shifts that have travelers either wanting or needing longer-term stays. It's also arguably one of the few segments in the industry that is undersupplied. Today we're going to discuss two new and very different extended stay brands, where they fit in the bigger picture of this growing category, ongoing construction challenges with ground-up builds, designing for a renewed era of extended stay, and a long-term look at future development. Joining me today are two people who are laser-focused on the growing extended stay segment, Walter Isenberg, CEO of Sage Hospitality, and David Kellam, VP of Architectural Design and Construction for Wyndham. Walter, you and your business partners founded Sage Hospitality in Denver in 1984 and have been behind some really incredible historic preservation and adaptive reuse projects. I was just there, they are awesome, including some truly transformative placemaking projects in downtown Denver like the Dairy Block and Union Station. They own and or operate 60 hotels in 14 states, but their newest concept where they plan to put a lot of focus is the Catbird Hotel, an extended stay concept. The first location of this brand is in Denver's trendy up-and-coming Rhino neighborhood. Walter, tell us a little bit about the Catbird concept. How do you describe it?
So we describe it as having 1 foot in the multifamily business and 1 foot in the hotel business, and then really kind of a lifestyle extended stay product. So really bringing something, I think, to the extended stay business that hadn't been done before.
Sure. When did you start planning it?
Started planning it in 2017, and then started construction before the pandemic, and we opened in August of 2021.
Great timing.
Yeah. Great timing.
So what was the inspiration behind the idea of a lifestyle?
So when we looked at the market, there's the multifamily market, the Central, the Sonder, the Roost, where taking traditional apartments and really trying to operate them as hotels. And then kind of on the other end, the traditional branded extended stay that's been around for a long time, Residence Inn, Homewood Suites, Hyatt House, and the Wyndham obviously has some great extended stay product as well. And so we were looking at those two extremes, if you will, very, very different products, and said there's nothing really that kind of bridges the two. And so that was our inspiration.
That was awesome. Very cool. What differentiates Catbird from those? I mean, I guess we kind of already talked that, but what are really your differentiating factors between a Sonder and what you're doing with Catbird?
Yeah, so like a Sonder, it feels like a home. It feels like a more of a multifamily business, but then infuses really the hospitality. So we're cooking made-to-order breakfast for our guests every morning. We have some amenities that you probably would not see in a traditional multifamily project, and maybe enhanced from what you would see in a traditional branded extended stay product.
And then what are your plans for the Catbird concept looking forward?
Well, we're hoping to grow it across the country. Obviously, our first one, we learned a lot, and assuming that the debt markets cooperate, which is a big assumption, we'll be looking to grow the brand.
Awesome. Very cool. So while Sage Hospitality has been focused on a more lifestyle-oriented extended stay, Wyndham Hotels and Resorts has its sights set on the economy extended stay segment. So Wyndham Hotels is the largest hotel company in the United States with the most units in its worldwide portfolio. Sorry, Marriott. It has 9,000 hotels across 22 brands in over 80 countries and 6,500 hotels in North America alone. As VP of Architectural Design and Construction for Wyndham, David has overseen the development of several new prototypes, including Project Echo, and has actually spent most of his career in extended stay, so he knows this segment very well. Wyndham's newest brand in its portfolio is called Project Echo, which stands for Economy Hotel Opportunity. And to clarify, this is just a working title of the project, but if there is an official name now, I'm sure David will share it if he can. The Economy Extended Stay is a new category for them. Wyndham's other brands, like Hawthorne Suites, is a mid-price brand. Project Echo is currently Wyndham's fastest growing concept in its pipeline. They already have 100 signed. David, tell us a little bit more about Project Echo.
Wonderful. So I just wish that everyone would have worn what they wore last night. So I I could identify people. Everyone has changed this morning. So very excited about Project Echo. It is a economy extended stay brand. It'll be completely different than what Walter is offering, and thus why Sage has a great opportunity there. It is a 4-story, just over 50,000 square foot, 124 room prototype that will have limited amenities and service the long-term extended stay customer looking for 4, 5, 6 week opportunities, projects.
Excellent. And when did you guys start developing and planning this concept?
Yeah, interesting thing. So we had been thinking about developing a new brand, a new construction brand. And about a year ago, one of our development partners, which is very key with Project Echo, is that is how we developed this prototype. We understood that our developers, our owner-operators know way more about hotels than we do, and we wanted to glean that information. And so we put together a developers council, and one of these developers came to us about a year ago. And the nice thing about being large, as Wyndham is, when you get the big blue truck rolling, we can get some things done. So we went from 0 to full prototype in less than a year, and actually broke ground a couple weeks ago with our first Echo.
Yeah, in Texas, right?
Yes,
Yep.
Plano.
Plano, Texas. So what are some of the advantages and benefits of this project from a development, design, and construction perspective?
Yeah, so as this room knows very well, a box is a box is a box, and as our speaker last night spoke about every hotel having a individuality design, this will not be that. It will be, you will wake up in Plano and you will wake up in Richmond and think you're in the same place. So consistency, what will separate Project Echo from its competition is it's all new construction. Will always be new construction. There will be no conversion opportunities. So we think that is a big advantage. And then Wyndham knows of our portfolio. A majority of our portfolios are economy hotels, and so we know that segment. We know that customer, and we know how to cater to them. So very excited about that opportunity and what we can do to service that.
Excellent. So obviously you're both coming into this with very different perspectives. Walter as owner and president of an independently operated hospitality company, David as VP of Design and Construction for the largest hotel company in the United States. If I can drop that again. But you're both overseeing the movement in your respective companies towards this extended stay segment. I'd like to take the last few minutes that we have here just to compare notes on where the industry is and where it's going. Walter, I will start with you. You mentioned to me before that you feel extended stay is an underserved segment. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think the travel trends are certainly changing, but as you look at a lot of the studies that have been done, frankly, over the last 10, 15 years, it's probably the most underserved segment of our industry. And as you looked around at demand in traditional extended stay properties, and then really the multifamily business entering the extended stay market, it was obvious to us that there was significant opportunity. I think the other thing that's happened, the pandemic has accelerated what was happening before the pandemic. And that is this kind of work from anywhere opportunity that people have. And we're seeing at Catbird people who say, I'm going to go, I work for Google, and I'm going to choose to live in Denver for 90 days and just see how it is and kind of live that lifestyle. So we're seeing a lot of that, and I think that the extended stay business is going to just continue to flourish.
I wonder, do you think extended stay has a branding problem?
I don't think so. I think that we in the industry, we talk about these segments, upscale, upper upscale, extended stay, economy. Consumers don't speak that way at all. So I think the consumer is looking for a specific product, and they say, I want to have a kitchen, I want it to be efficient, I'm an economy customer or I'm a luxury customer, so I'm going to pick on price. But they're really looking at the facility and the amenities. They're not thinking about it like, I don't think anybody goes, oh, that's an extended stay product. The consumer doesn't.
Right.
We do, but the consumer doesn't.
So, David, it seems Wyndham is bullish on Project Echo. What does Wyndham see as the real market opportunity here, and how might Echo be positioned maybe better than other brands in this current economic state?
Yeah, I think we have, and again, speaking to the designers in the room and the architects, the difficulty, we talked about this with Banco yesterday. The hard thing about designing is taking economy and taking our money, our budgets, and designing something that's impactful for a lower price point, right? And it's easy to go spend money on gold fixtures, right? We all can do that, but it takes a special talent. So we really think, I don't know if you have the picture. We really think
there's a PowerPoint. Can we get those pictures played? I'm so sorry, I forgot to tell you before.
So while they're bringing that up, I think we've really done a great job of nailing the outside of the hotel, so it doesn't look like a typical EFIS box. I think it has some great look. We've taken the opportunity to utilize LED. As some of you all did last night in your costumes. I was very proud of you. And so we've made an attractive hotel at an economy point. And again, knowing, as Wyndham knows, that segment, we really feel that we can provide what we have provided a prototype that developers want. And we will work really hard. Again, another thing about being a large hotel company is we drive value through our sourcing. And so that is very important, obviously, in today's economy, to provide that opportunity for our owners and developers.
Absolutely. So from your perspectives, more broadly, what is the motivating business interest in extended stay right now? Just kind of speaking like high level. I'll start with you, Walter.
Yeah. I think that what we're seeing and what's been interesting for us is because we're bridging really multifamily with more traditional hotel space, revenue management has been an interesting exercise for us. And how many extended stay rooms do you take? And Denver has kind of a bell curve of demand, with the beginning and first and fourth quarters being more shoulder. And we had as many as 60% of our units on 30 plus nights. And we've had some guests that have been with us for over a year already. So I think when we look at kind of the branding, if you will, the extended stay, we're seeing a very interesting mix of potential customers.
Yeah, you were saying like early on when it first opened, you were getting a lot of traveling nurses, and now it's kind of shifted a little bit. Who are your customers?
So when we first opened, traveling nurses were a big part of our business, and fortunately for us, we have priced them out of the space. But we're seeing a lot of, on the leisure side, a lot of weddings on weekends. We're pushing them. Our average length of stay for our non-extended stay business, which we call 30 plus, is 3.5 nights. So that also is important to us as we manage really to look what customer we're looking for. We are getting corporate retreats. We have a very small meeting space, but the 8 to 10 corporate retreat that might be 3, 4, or 5 nights. And then really the work from anywhere customer and also relocations. So somebody wanting to moving to Denver, they want to find a neighborhood, and they can come stay with us. Typical of a extended stay property, they don't have to sign a lease. So if they decide to stay for 30 days and need to extend to 45 or 60, easy to do.
And we have the pictures going, so you can kind of see a little bit of what the Catbird Hotel looks like and some of their amenities and things like that. And then this is the rendering for Project Echo. Same question, David. From your perspective, what's the business interest in this extended stay?
So two obvious answers to that. One is from our developers. They see a very developable prototype that they can develop rapidly. So we have over 100 signings, and these developers are folks that will do 5, 10, 15 hotels at one time. So we should see this, or you should see this, spread quickly across the United States. The other thing is we love traveling nurses. So, and Walter is going to share those with us. And so, typically you think of extended stay as blue collar travel, and it really has changed to white and professional travel, with the traveling nurses a great example. And so, with extended stay, that segment, as everyone here will know, handles downturns and blips in our economy very well. Sure. They are the last to be affected and the first to come out of it. And that has been repeated since extended stay segment really began. And so the pandemic really showed us that, right? And you see a lot of transient hotels that will offer an extended stay room because they know that opportunity is out there. And so I think that's the strength.
Excellent. Does this have staying power long term? I mean, do you see a lot of continued opportunity for growth here? And Walter, I'll start with you.
Yeah, we do. We're looking for emerging neighborhoods near urban centers. So not being inside the CBD, but our property in Denver is about mile and a half outside the CBD in an emerging neighborhood called Rhino. So we see significant opportunity. And I think the other thing that is interesting for us is everybody knows the labor markets are difficult, and this is an opportunity to build an asset and really use technology in an interesting way. Obviously, an extended stay guest doesn't need, nor do they want their room cleaned every day. And so I think that as the labor markets continue to be very, very difficult for us, that creates, I think, a more interesting opportunity versus developing a full service asset. So that's been also a big piece of the business reasons for us to continue to look for the opportunities.
Gotcha. Same question. Does this have staying? What do you see as the long-term growth opportunity? Obviously, a lot.
Yeah, obviously, and I spoke about that in the last. But again, Walter is just dead eye on it. Yeah. This market is, as I said before, recession-proof, if there is such a thing, and the customer, as well as the developer, will reap the benefit of the labor. You're exactly right, and this prototype and the extended stay model really is set up for low labor usage and spending.
Yeah. So what can people expect from Project Echo? What's the experience from the guest perspective?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a typical, as you can see, 4-story, 124 room, very small on amenity, small check-in lobby, and we have a gathering room off of the lobby for a lot of our teams will want to get together. We do have a very nice fitness center, so.
So DMC will be happy.
That's right, D will be happy.
He doesn't do economy.
Yeah, and so outside of that, it's really very small. Everything is contained within the room, and that's what we see this guest really wants. They want a self-service and really be left alone. We are really spending time and money on technology. We have some of our partners in here. I think DirecTV is working on some opportunities for us, but we will have the highest of high internet, as everyone should. But we see these guests come in and they bring not only their computer, but their PlayStation, their Xbox. And so data is huge. So we will have a large technology offering through both wired and wireless opportunity, streaming opportunity for TV, large TV, and a great shower.
And a great fitness.
That's it, that's right.
Walter, how about Catbird? What is the guest experience like there? What are some of the amenities?
So we have ranging from traditional apartment amenities. We have lockers, Amazon, I guess, lockers where you can get your groceries delivered. They'll be there when you arrive back in the afternoon or evening. We have U.S. Post Office mailboxes. We have a fitness center. We have free laundry for all our customers. We include a cook-to-order breakfast. We have a library. We have small meeting rooms inside our lobby area. We have little phone booths for people. We have kind of co-working space. And then we also have what we call our playroom, which has Vespas, bicycles, longboards. We've got fishing gear. And one of the things that's happened is we've had guests who have said to us, do you have a rice cooker? And we don't, so we went out and bought it, and then that goes into the playroom, so future guests can be using additional kitchen equipment, if you will, in their unit. So it's an interesting experience for our customers.
Very cool. So just as we have just a few minutes here, I'd love to hear your guys' the final thoughts on the shifts that are happening in the hotel industry right now in response to everything that has been happening globally. From the pandemic to the hot housing market that came out of the pandemic, how inflation impacted everything from, traveler behavior to project financing. So what are some of the opportunities these shifts have created generally in hospitality and more specifically in extended stay?
Well, I think probably the two biggest impacts. Inflation, while it hurts us on the wage side of the business, it helps us on the pricing side of the business. And we've seen ADR inflation be very, very significant across the industry, not just in extended stay. And that has really, for us, more than offset the wage pressures that we're seeing. I think the other thing that I would put in tandem is the difficulty in the labor market, which is really directly been caused by the pandemic and people's views of work. And I think that is a big piece. And then coupled with that is technology. And so how do we take advantage of technology to reduce staffing and still deliver to our customer great hospitality?
Excellent. David?
Same question.
Same question.
So the developers that will take advantage during this global
Everything?
everything, right?
Global everything?
We'll really reap the benefits. The ones that are positioned to start developing now will be ready when we come out of this. We all know it's cyclical. It always is cyclical, and it is more expensive. And that's, again, what is wonderful about extended stay, and specifically our prototype, is it does help with the labor, and it is a streamlined approach. So we really feel that the developers that take advantage of this now will be in a great position.
Excellent. Final question. Does Project Echo have a name yet?
Well, it doesn't, and it will soon. We were thinking, or I actually thought, just sitting here listening to Walter, that Walter Hotel would be good with a nice mustache as the logo.
Bad branding. Really bad.
I can see it. I can see you do like that.
Yeah, right? You know, a little mustache.
Everything's branding. Instagram. That's
There
great.
you go.
Well, gentlemen, 26 seconds left. I think that's great. Thank you so much for your time. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for coming out. Thank you for
Absolutely.
sharing everything with us today.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
David, appreciate it.